that Hitler died in the bunker on April 30th, 1945.
Could Adolf Hitler have gotten out of Berlin, and how did he do it?
How did he enter Argentina?
We're going to look at who could facilitate hiding Hitler.
We need to take this out of the realm of hearsay and see what sort of technology we can bring. There are thousands of leads. It could completely change history.
Hunting Hitler.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our early Sunday show. Early for me, maybe not as for much as my two panelists and friends here. Mr. Clifton 3D, what time is it there for you, buddy?
It is 1900, or for others, 7 p.m.
Nice. Well, thanks for being here, man. You're always punctual. Appreciate you. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Some other panelists have jobs and are dealing with some family stuff, so we wish them luck and stuff like that.
Yeah, not like us. Sorry.
Well, speaking of, apparently she doesn't have a family. No, I kid. Anna, thank you for being here. It's going to be good to have you on this one.
Spasiba. Thank you, comrades. We will be hunting the mustache man today. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we will.
Yes, that is my very bad Russian accent. I'm Russian, but I cannot do Russian accent for some reason. It sounds really weird. I go back to American.
Actually, I thought it sounded pretty good. Kathleen, thank you for being here. She says hi. Okay, I'll be there. Yeah, I said we'd be a few minutes late because I was setting up the Rumble. So thank you, Kathleen. She also commented on Friday night about enjoying the show. So thank you for that. CLS Studio, what is up? He says, good afternoon. Hey. Must be afternoon for him.
Too.
And we are streaming to several platforms here, which is awesome. So without any further delay, because we usually try to keep this about an hour and 15 minutes, let's start looking for this dude.
All right.
FBI documents, eyewitness interviews, all arrows pointed to this direction. The big question is, did a U-boat cruise into these waters and
I'm sorry, that is like so History Channel. They start with like the most like, oh my god, all the arrows are pointing in this direction, and then it zooms in onto like some bullshit.
Well, it's them on a beach.
The most evil.
I don't think Anna, do you know who Tim Kennedy is?
Who is?
Tim Kennedy?
No, who is that? Is that the main dude?
That's the guy who's talking right now. Clifton, do you know who he is?
The CIA dude.
Yeah,
no.
Military. I've seen him before, and I did look it up. He was the guy who waterboarded Steven Crowder.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, Tim Kennedy, he's actually being well known for helping to hunt down Osama bin Laden, because he was what? CLS? Ryan, yesterday Infamous was streaming on sketchy topics, the whole time I was thinking, why isn't Ryan here? I was there. I was only like a few minutes late.
No, it's my fault. I was late. I was trying to get through the rat tunnels to get to these two. Sorry.
But anyway, yeah, Tim Kennedy is he's basically served in special forces in the United States, and he also does mixed martial arts. He's
ex-CIA.
I'm gonna say military intelligence. I don't know if he's ever. I'm sure he's worked for the CIA, because I mean they work closely with. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
person in generations off onto this shore right here? We need to find out.
In 2014, an executive order released.
All right, this is just the recap. Let me skip through it. So yeah, they're on that beach. Hopefully the internet on this sketchy site holds out, because last week we had a few issues. That was my fault. All right.
There's not sufficient evidence, in my view, to simply say that Hitler died in the Fuhrer bunker in April 30th, 1945.
I think we just all assumed he died there, but there's no evidence for it.
Bob Baer and war crimes investigator John Sensich have determined that Hitler could have faked his death, escaped from his
Don't you do it.
and landed at a compound in Argentina just 3.5 months after being reported as dead. This opens a new phase in their investigation.
Right now, what we need to do is go back and look at those choke points. Choke points are locations where people who are fleeing the scene of a crime have to make it past the.
Sorry. My internet's been a little wonky lately. Even when I watch YouTube for entertainment, it's kind of frustrating.
Oh well, YouTube is destroying your computer, so
Yeah.
Oh, I do it through the I do it through the Roku. Devil's Air says, Anna, what
I'm
the
just
fuck is that back-"
replying in the chat. Okay, thank you. I'm in the bunker. I'm literally in the bunker with an
Mhm.
American and a German.
That's a different combination now, isn't it? I didn't think that we had the whole party here from the end of World War II.
Right.
Clifton's, unfortunately, you have to be the bad guy.
Well, okay.
No, he's
I
the
get it.
resistance. He's like
Was
the
there-
Tom Cruise
the
in that
Weiße
film
Hose.
where they go,
The
where
White
they go
Rose.
into the Alps lair, the wolf's lair, and they try and assassinate.
Part of
I've been there.
what is it called? The people who tried to take him out but failed. There's a movie about it. Tom Cruise was in it. It was a good movie.
Valkyrie.
I literally just
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that.
Oh.
Fun fact: my grandfather on my dad's side was actually like intelligence, and he was there when the explosion happened. Not joking.
Really? That's
Yeah,
wild.
he got shrapnel from that big wooden table, and he was really injured and wounded for a very
That's
long time.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, Alec Baldwin's
Yeah.
finger?
Hello.
Gotta be careful of Alec Baldwin's finger. He never misses. Too soon? Too soon?
No.
I think they're bringing charges again back against that dude. But anyway, that's a very different historical topic of that'll be,
In order to succeed. If the suspect didn't get past that area, then the inquiry is shut down there. But the other reason that if any fugitive does encounter these choke points, there will be activity where evidence is generated. We need to really take a look at these 2 points very closely. Choke point 1, how did he get out of Germany? And choke point number 2, how he could have entered Argentina. Now, we can't go and piece all of his footsteps together. Not right now. Right now, we need to focus on choke point number 1, how he got out of Germany.
If you're getting out, you have to thread the needle. The needle is Russian forces. The Red Army is surrounding Berlin.
In January 1945, Nazi Germany was on the brink of defeat. Hitler retreated to his bunker in the center of Berlin as the Soviet army began their assault on the Nazi capital. German soldiers desperately battled to hold on to their city, but surrendered on the 2nd of May, just 2 days after Hitler was believed to have committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel like a long time to anybody after he supposedly committed, ended himself to keep fighting?
Growing up in school, in Germany, they talk about World War II every single year. I always had the sense that the Russians were like right there at the bunker when it happened.
Oh yeah, there's a famous. Well, I mean, not famous, but there's a one of the military photographers who was there, Buddies, I think Sokolov, was there when they actually found Hitler, and it was uncovered when the Soviet archives were uncovered in 2000.
Committed suicide.
No,
Sorry, I didn't mean to actually do that.
he said that they saw doubles, like he was taking photos of multiple corpses of people who looked like Mustache Man.
Mhm.
And there's like
Well,
a famous interview of him saying that he was there taking the snaps, and he said that there were multiple people looking exactly like him.
Interesting. That's cool. Well, I mean, obviously dictators are well known for having body doubles, even Osama bin Laden had many body doubles, and it's
Oh yeah.
one reason it made it so hard to hunt him down.
Do you have a body double?
Do I have a body double?
Yeah.
I had somebody claim one time they saw somebody who looked exactly like me so much that they were going to walk up to them in the store. And then they actually noticed they had a forearm tattoo on the underside, and I don't have that. They're like, that's not Ryan. Yeah. Also, I had another friend say that they saw somebody who looked just like me at a pool, but because they didn't have the tattoo on my right shoulder, there was like, that's not him. So they say that we all have a doppelganger walking around.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm Ricky Gervais and Obi-Wan. So
Yes.
Hello there. They ruined that character so bad. Anyway, we're
I
not
love
talking about that.
The pipe is a good. Are you actually smoking it, or is that just a prop?
no, it's real. I'm just new at it, and it doesn't want to stay on.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah. From what I understand, if you don't pack it tight, then it has a hard time staying lit.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first YouTubers I got into watching, he plays a lot of video games. He's smoked a lot of cigars, but he smoked a pipe before, and he says, yeah, you really got to pack it tight. I don't know. That's just what he says, but I mean, dude's well known for smoking a cigar. So anyway, it's kind of cool though.
Oh yeah.
It's very 1940s. I like it.
We need Lenny to keep on looking at the possible routes from the bunker. Keep looking, see how he could have possibly gotten out of that city under siege.
Lenny DePaul, one of the most skilled manhunters in the world, and a former commander of the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, continues his investigation in Berlin.
When I'm tracking a fugitive, I want to know everything. I want to get inside this fugitive's mind. I want to know what his every thought is. I want to know what his next step's going to be. Choke point right now in Berlin is critical. Could Adolf Hitler have gotten out of Berlin, and how did he do it? All right. Take a seat. This is good.
Lenny rejoins Sasha Kyle, an expert on Berlin during World War II.
And I have a quick question. What does your little headline there say? Because that can't be your full name. And
No, it says lieutenant, and then my initials, but my first name, so A for Anna or Anastasia, and then G, Gea, for my father's first name, which is Graham. So in Russian you have Anastasia, and then your patronym, which is your middle name, is after your father. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it would be like if you had a daughter, it would be whatever you want to call her, Catherine Raevna, after your name.
I didn't know that. That's kind of cool, actually. Well, our education system over here sucks.
It's kind of outdated, though. Like, you don't get to choose your patronym. It's whoever your father is.
Yeah,
Even if
I
you
mean,
have a relationship with them, or if you've never known them, if it says it in your birth certificate,
that would
life, you can't change it.
that would be tough if your father hasn't been around. That would suck.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's probably not as big of an issue in Russia as it is here.
I mean, I wouldn't generalize, but also Ager, like Anna's Gameland, AG. So it works.
Yeah, that's true. All right. I didn't know that. That's actually a cool fact. This is why I brought her here, by the way. She's smarter than me.
Sasha has access to key documents from Hitler's final days.
I mean, if he escaped the Fuhrer bunker, what was his plan to get out of Berlin?
3 options.
Okay.
It's boat, train, and plane.
Okay.
Boat, you're on the river, left and right side controlled by the Russians in this time.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
The next is train, but if you drive out, you're threatened by Allied planes.
Okay.
So that's not an option too risky. So the best was proved by test pilot Hannah Reich.
Hannah Reich was the world's first ever female test pilot, flying Nazi prototype helicopters and a rocket-powered jet, earning her a place in Hitler's inner circle. On the 28th...
How progressive.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of nuts, man. The fact that like she was that good, that she was an experimental test pilot and she flew everything. That would make her perfect for possibly trying to help him escape.
Yeah.
Like, means she could fly anything and everything almost.
Yep, definitely.
So that's super
8th
interesting.
of April 1945, Hanna flew Robert Ritter von Gramm, the general of the Nazi Air Force, out of the Soviet-controlled city, just 2 days before Hitler was believed to have committed suicide in his bunker.
Test run, shall we?
Sounds like it.
It's like a pretty good test run.
I don't know. It's
Wow.
quite interesting. Like, I mean, I've seen the episode before the show, obviously preparing for it, but I also looked at some of the archives, like I said, that were released. Some of the Soviet stuff pretty much is the same. Like they also in the archives are also talking about her and saying that she helped this dude escape, and like the dates match up. So that's quite interesting. Like the Western and the Soviet dates and timelines match.
The intelligence matches, which makes it I mean, when you're talking about evidence to this degree, right, you usually have to go like, what's it's probable, mostly just stuff like that. You can't say 100% on anything, but it kind of leaning towards very probable that one guy got out.
That certainly sent a strong message to Hitler that if she could do it, he certainly could.
Yes.
Can we open his database back up? I want to do a search.
Sasha's database searches through hundreds of hours worth of interrogations of Hitler's inner circle, conducted by Michael Masmano, who was a judge at the Nuremberg trials. In a case with no eyewitnesses, this is the next best thing.
Throw these words in there: escape, plans, fly, plane. And cross-reference that with Berlin.
ChatGPT, write me a story.
Speaking of writing such stories, Anna's been active with ChatGTP.
Yes. Continue.
Yeah. I need to poke around with that because I haven't tried anything with it. I don't know. I did try to figure it out, and I don't know. Maybe I was just too stupid to figure it out. Smarter people.
Searching.
There we go. We got hits here. Look at this. Wow. Okay, let's see.
Wait, what is NIAD again?
Lieutenant-
National Intelligence.
Let me back it up. It was national and
Because I've seen that quite a bit on like different History Channel shows.
It's something from.
It's like a military thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you. So it's a military database that they uploaded all the documents to, and it scans it, looking for keywords from all the testimonies and all the documents from the Americans, from the British, from anybody who tried to track him. The possibility of his escape after World War II, because they were all previously classified. Thank you, President Obama, for unclassifying them. Now, I don't know if he did it on purpose or if it just happened to be a chunk that he declassified and they came with it, but it's been pretty interesting. So,
Plans, fly.
you already saw
Look at
that.
this.
It says it's called Nazi Interrogation Archive Datenbank, which means database. I think I probably said that wrong, but it's fine. But it means basically, yeah. Okay. I'm rusty with my German.
Wow. Okay, let's see. Where's Lieutenant Holmes saying, I was deeply convinced that one day I would have to take off in a plane. Hitler and Himmler would be on it. I know about his plans and I know his psychology.
It's a good hint to the personality of Hitler. He has bigger plans.
Right.
And they planned 2 years to escape before the war was over.
Can I see the next one?
Yeah.
So let's see. The quote is in the conference on 20 April, on his birthday. The Fuhrer did say he agreed to go south.
On the 20th of April, 1945, Hitler made his final public appearance, 10 days before he was said to have committed suicide.
Can I see the next one?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. What do we got? Here's a Nazi Admiral Karl von Puttkamer. He says we left Berlin by air in the early morning of 21 of April. That's the day after Hitler's birthday. And I myself left from Berlin stock and others left from Tempelhof. We were about 8 or 10 aircraft. April 20th, 1945 was the last day anybody saw Adolf Hitler in public. That was his birthday. April 21st, the day after, there was a mass exodus that flew out of Tempelhof Airport. That's direct evidence that Nazis were escaping Germany at the end of that war. What do we know about these aircraft? Do we have a flight log? Can we get access to a flight log?
I can show you.
Okay. Yeah, let me see.
It's also not that far fetched too. Even since after the war, there have been obviously prominent Nazi hunters who have found high-ranking ones that escaped, all in South America,
Yeah.
and arrested them and brought them to justice, because it's like the statute of limitations on that has never actually expired. Like, so yeah, it's
I don't remember what it was called, but I did watch a documentary about how do I put this? Star people hunting Yahtzees. And
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember what it
Yeah,
was
I don't
called.
remember what it was called, but yeah, that was quite powerful.
No.
Damn, what was the name of it? Yeah.
But
Also,
crazy.
there was a really good film released a couple of years ago about again, like Mossad intelligence hunting. Damn, what was the actor's name? God, my brain isn't working today. The bold dude with the big nose. No, not Patrick Stewart, the other one. Damn it. But anyway, they go in like Mossad, and the whole film is about the operation where they go into Argentina and they find one of the guys that was in charge of one of the camps, and it's based on a true story. It's a really good film. Damn it, I'll look it up.
JV says, "Hello, boys," and hello, Anna, my dear.
Hey, JV.
Hello, Ministry.
Yeah, so it's something that is, so it's not like that this is very far fetched, right? This is actually extremely probable, because we have found ones that managed to escape. It's just the way it is, and they do talk about many of them later on in the later seasons, the ones who did escape and made it, and there were eyewitnesses, confirmations, and of course the arrests of certain people. So we'll definitely get there.
See.
Sasha looks up flight records from the planes that escaped from Tempelhof Airport on the 21st of April, the day after Hitler was last seen in public.
All right, so let's see. They hastily loaded with baggage 16 passengers with 5 crew.
Oh, that's interesting. The first plane was loaded with Hitler's private property.
What? Why would Hitler load an airplane with his property if he wasn't going to be on it? Or wasn't going to meet up with it later? What do we know about Tempelhof?
You see this?
Yeah, hold on.
That's Tempelhof Airport.
Okay, so here's the airport. Where were the Russians on April 21st?
This airport was free. 21st, it was not the problem. Every day later, the risk
Got higher. Yeah.
was higher.
In February 1945, Hitler fortified Berlin with rings of anti-tank defenses, a last-ditch effort to hold off advancing Soviet troops. This allowed the Nazis to hold on to the capital city for months rather than weeks. Tempelhof was located within the inner ring of defense, preventing the Soviets from capturing the airport until the 28th of April 1945. 4 days later, the Nazis surrendered Berlin.
This Tempelhof Airport, can he get there from the Führer bunker?
The Führer bunker?
What's up there, Andy Pickle? He says, guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Abend.
I remembered. So Oscar Isaac is the actor. And,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and the film's called Operation Finale, with Ben Kingsley playing the bad man.
Interesting.
Really good film.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I know. I think I remember seeing like a trailer or something, but I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, it's
It's
good film.
got interesting. I'll watch that. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Anybody who
Well, guys, I always recommend the best shit. Like, come on. Have I ever disappointed you? Ever?
No, you've actually recommended me a few documentaries, and I really enjoyed them. Frostfang says, "Hello, what up, man?"
Hello, Frost. Love you, Frost.
Andy Pickle says, Sir Ben.
Yes.
You have to say hello there now, in your best Obi-Wan.
Oh, hello there.
That's actually really good. Blast is. Are you sleepy? I mean, it is early here in the United States.
We're just getting started with Cliff. I mean, come on, catch up with Europe.
Yeah.
JV says get rid of Hitler and deal with Stalin in the aftermath. Talk about a lose-lose situation. Yeah, it was it was never going to be the best, especially because the Russians and the Americans were forced to split basically Germany into two pieces. And as somebody who was in Germany after the wall fell, the people of Germany are extremely grateful for what the Allies did, especially the Americans. Not so much a fan of what happened on the Soviet side.
Yeah, well,
That's hey, nobody's fault but Stalin's.
But on that note, do you know the channel Fat Electrician?
No.
Oh,
no.
Dude, check him out. He has a video. I mean, he does a lot of history videos, but he has a video about the Luftbrücke.
Mm.
Oh man.
Is he actually fat and an electrician?
He's not really that. I mean, he's buff. He's big.
Okay.
But
so it's kind of a joke.
Yeah. He from if I remember correctly, he said something about he injured himself and couldn't go to work and stuff, and he was basically just sitting around at home on the couch all day, and he felt fat. So he wanted to joke about it and called himself Fat Electrician.
Hey, that's actually kind of funny. Well, I'd be like call him. It'd be like if I started a channel and I called myself short military. I don't know, something like that. It's like I'm nowhere near short. Everybody be like, "What? You're so?" I don't know. Especially though, yeah, that's the worst. Especially if you're used to working out all the time and you get hurt and you have to you're forced to take time off. It's awful. JV says, "I'm gonna scoot. Just stop by to say howdy. Be looking for that avatar soon, Anna. Toodles. See you, man.
Take care, man."
And JV and I always have a Monday night Game of Thrones stream, so that's always fun. Inching closer to House of the Dragon, which we're all really excited about.
Here.
Okay.
That's Tempelhof Airport. And the shortest way is to use a subway tunnel.
That is definitely worth taking a look at. If Adolf Hitler was able to make it to Tempelhof Airport to board one of those airplanes, specifically on April 21st, he could have been long gone. I need to get to the bottom of that.
Lenny's making great progress on the ground. He's determined there was a mass exodus out of Berlin by air on the 21st of April. That was the day after Hitler was last seen.
Retired CIA veteran Bob Baer and war crimes investigator John Sensich are reviewing on-the-ground findings from Berlin, where they're investigating a critical question. Could Hitler have escaped Soviet-controlled Germany?
The timeline fits. He could have made it out on the 21st. That's very clear to me. I think that's a crucial piece of evidence. On the other hand, if we're looking at the second checkpoint, how did he get to Argentina? You look at the miles. We've got thousands and thousands of miles. You can't fly an airplane there directly. There's multiple modes of transportation, multiple stopping points.
Real quick, Andy Pickle says the Soviets allied with Hitler to invade Poland after Hitler turned on the Soviets. The Lend-Lease Act kept him in the fight. Stalin was a real piece of work.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Anna's a little more brunt than I am. Not really. Stalin was a real piece of shit because he sat by. And then all of a sudden, when it wasn't in his best interest anymore, then that's when he's like, all right, I guess we're gonna have to do this. And that was a big mistake on the Germans, because quite frankly, even though they were fighting a two-front war, came very close to winning.
If Germans hadn't attacked Russia, I don't think the war would have continued the way it did.
Yeah. No, and they were as we've kind of seen too, that they had like sleeper cells in South America getting ready to invade the possible invasion of the U.S. and
Yeah.
it would have brought the war to a whole new front. Um,
Oh yeah.
Frost Franks, Germany was fighting multiple fronts. Even went to Africa. Yes,
Yeah.
they did. Yes, they did.
There a lot of American and British soldiers were stationed in Africa fighting Mussolini's fascists,
And
who were trying
Rommel.
to take that part of the world. So the whole world was on fire, basically.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, there are even rumors that well, not rumors actually, because there's actual photographic evidence that the Nazis planted a flag on Antarctica. They were everywhere. Like
And
these,
as Ryan
yeah,
knows, on the
because
moon.
Hitler was like obsessed with the cult and stuff, and they actually like went to Antarctica looking for weird,
Mhm.
like
Yep.
ancient aliens or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were the SS was severely into the occult, and Hitler was as well, and they sent units around the world looking for holy artifacts from even like the Old Testament and
Holy
the New
Grail,
Testament. Look,
yeah, like pyramids and stuff. Yeah, it's quite
yeah,
interesting. I mean,
yeah,
that's
it
kind
was.
of what not the last Dial of Dysentery, Indiana Jones, the one before that was based on, with Kate Blanchett, when and everybody's looking for these artifacts and
Yeah, that one was pretty bad too, but nothing as bad as Dial of
Dysentery.
Diarrhea.
Yep.
Yeah. I still to this day haven't watched it.
I know very little people
Me neither.
that watched it. Andy says Nazis live on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. And Ryan should know that.
Wasn't there a film?
A documentary, yes. Iron Sky.
Right. Yeah.
There's even two. It's part 1 and part 2. So
Yeah. Check it out. It's great.
Yeah, not a documentary. It's not a documentary.
Take a look at this document. This is a report written by the FBI, the source, who claims to have aided 6 top Argentine officials in hiding Adolf Hitler upon his landing by submarine in Argentina. It says that the submarines landed along the tip of the Valdez Peninsula, along the southern tip of Argentina.
We're talking about a U-boat landing here, which that's the way I'd get there. We know in those days you couldn't track them. You go deep enough, go right across the Atlantic.
When the Nazis surrendered on the 5th of May 1945, all German U-boats were ordered to sail to their nearest port. Most captains followed these orders, but 46 U-boats continued to operate in unknown locations, and 2 of these rogue boats surfaced off the coast of Argentina and surrendered 3 months later.
Here's what we got to do, is we have to establish, first of all, how far a U-boat can go.
About 9,000 miles.
And that's without refueling.
That's correct.
How far?
Damn, that's a long way.
yeah.
That's a very long way. The United States is only about 20, what? No, it's about 3,000 miles across. So a U-boat could travel the distance of roughly the United States 3 times. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So,
You can definitely get across the ocean.
And they would only have to surface a little bit to obviously to kind of because you can't stay down there forever. You just say you run out of oxygen. But yeah, the U-boats were infamous for being so hard to track. That's wild.
I would never want to serve on a U-boat during World War II. Like, that to me, like, I've been in the Imperial War Museum in London. They have like some of them where you can actually go in, and it's just no. Like the sleeping space is literally like the whatever they call it, your head, your forehead, and I'm quite small. I'm like 5'2", 5'3", like touches the bunk above you.
Mm-hmm.
So people had to no, and the smells and everything and the sounds, like it was hell.
Yeah, it's a situation that I would never fit. Like I've been on a World War II merchant ship and stuff like that, and I from the United States that served in the end of World War II, and I was too big to be on the boat. Like the corridors are like you literally have to like it was crazy. And
And then imagine
yeah.
if it's hit and there's like flames and it's also but there's no. I'm even like thinking about it. Like I don't ever want to go to that Imperial War Museum exhibit ever again. I have PTSD.
Yeah, it'd be a death trap. Legit coffin underwater.
Or is it from Europe?
It's definitely less, maybe around 7,500.
I've spent a career hiding people and getting them to escape. I mean, I know how it's done. You had U-boats all over the Atlantic, Hitler traveling to Argentina in a U-boat, long range, underwater. That's the way I would do it.
I think really the only resolution at this point is that we do send a team to the Valdez Peninsula.
We need to determine by review of the area, is this credible?
Completely.
Nazi hunter Stephen Rambam, U.S. Army Special Forces Tim Kennedy, and investigative journalist Gerard Williams head for the reported location of Hitler's submarine landing in Argentina.
What interests me about this is if you want to go to somewhere incredibly far from anything and anybody, this would be the place to come.
You know, a place like this seems suitable. Who's going to look here? Who can look here?
After driving for hours, the team reached the tip of the Valdez Peninsula at the precise landing location given in the FBI files.
Holy moly, look at this. There's a lighthouse.
Observation-wise, this is remarkable. The highest point
of the Valdez Peninsula. Driving here this morning, I was thinking we've come to the middle of nowhere. But then you see.
Oh, real quick. Annie Pickle says submarines are why diesel engines and fuel came to be. That's true. Also, that diesel is a byproduct of making gas was repurposed or trashed before. Gas engines underwater were too flammable. Diesel is a much higher ignition point. It does, yes. What's up there? Jason says, hail chat, hail Cliff, Orion, and Anna. Officer Anna. Officer. Very nice. Lieutenant. How do you say lieutenant again?
I think he said, "Of course." No.
Yeah, I
thought you said. I thought you said officer because you said you were a lieutenant. It's probably was, of course.
Yes, I was, of course. Lieutenant.
I like officer better. I don't know. I put two and two together, and I was like, "Oh, FC." I'm like, I was in the military officer. She said she's a lieutenant. Makes sense. Nope.
See the lighthouse, and you think maybe, just maybe, there's something in this. This is where the filer sent us to. This is navigation point now that is important for people coming from that place, the big sea.
It's old.
I mean, this could have been here in 45.
I mean, my feeling is, this is such an important navigation point for anything coming down the South Atlantic that there's probably been a lighthouse here of some sorts for a very long time.
1945, they didn't have the sophisticated navigation tools that we have now. So having a point of reference, how easily identifiable is that for a link-up point?
Yeah.
Let's do this systematically. The first question is, could a submarine
sorry,
land
I disagree with that. I think the navigation systems were very sophisticated back in the day, going back to the very, very, very early times of sailing. I mean, they might seem not sophisticated because the technology was not there, but still, it was quite sophisticated, in my opinion. So I don't agree with that.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, back then you didn't have satellites and stuff like that, but so I kind of see where he's coming from. Like there might be a rock shooting out of the ocean that you don't know of, especially if you're, getting there
on the
during
Titanic.
the nighttime during the nighttime, and you might just not see it and then run afloat. That of course wouldn't be good, but
even with
generally
systems,
navigation
they
skills,
fail. Like when you
Yeah.
have like bad weather and you're on the ocean and you have to, and your technology fails, you navigate by the way people did it back in the day, stars and all kinds of other things. So, I mean, I'd much rather rely on that.
I think maybe the comment was to lean more towards the fact that maybe that compared to the time period, the lighthouse itself is not really sophisticated, but lighthouses are still at that time were still needed though. If you're trying to
No, Andy, I'm not talking if you were like on a U-boat, but also back then on a U-boat, what kind of what technology did they have to be able to navigate, like I mean today you do have satellites and everything, but back then, like what did they use? Sonar.
Which I
I was
mean,
talking more about if
they
you were
still
on
use it.
a Navy boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we still use radar. Radar is something that has been around for a long time now, and we still to this day use it. We've just integrated it with sonar, radar, obviously GPS. All of it is used because and they teach you to use all these tools. Even if you're a fighter pilot in the Navy, like you need to know how to navigate. Like you can't just rely on one instrument. Even private pilots, they there's direct and there's IFR and different types of ways to navigate that you have to use, because you're not always going to use just the one all the time. You need to know how to use the other ones to be able to know where you're going at nighttime. Because so
I don't know if both of you are watching the Masters of the Air show.
Oh, don't start. Don't start.
Yeah, she told me to watch it, and it's really good.
No.
All I'm going to say is that they have navigators on the plane doing the calculations in their head and
in real time.
In the real time. And it's like, I couldn't do that shit. No way.
No, I would be much
shooting at you and shit, and you're like trying to like sit there with a ruler or with a map and oh my god, I love that show, and I love that people who used to fly those planes and do that kind of stuff.
God. Yeah, that was one of the recommendations I was given, and I was like, I binge watched like the first 2 episodes.
Pilots. God.
You all right?
I gotta go.
Oh, I'm so glad they went. The U.S. Army went back to those uniforms too. They got the pinks and greens back. Thank God. That looks so good. That's the best looking military uniform ever. Anyway, now I'm having a weird moment.
You want to investigate the beach a little closer?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
The team searched the peninsula for any possible U-boat landing sites.
Absolutely.
I'm looking on the land. There is zero cover. There is nowhere to hide on this peninsula.
Looking around, I can see for miles, but I feel as if everything can see me. I am just prey. It's a horrible feeling. It's a feeling I despise. I never want to feel like the prey. I want to be the predator. I had rocks falling out from under me. Brutal. I wouldn't try to land a special forces unit here.
Right.
Let alone a 56-year-old Hitler.
He's 56, he's not well.
The other thing is, imagine you land there or you land there. Then what do you do? All right, you hump up this hill, and then what do you do?
Yeah, well, there's nothing for a long way inland.
It's not enough to get here. It's where he can go to from that location. I mean, Adolf Hitler is not John Wayne. He's not getting on a horse and riding off into the sunset. There's no roads. There's no support structure. There's no food. There's no water.
Not every FBI report's going to have all the information we need.
I think we're done here.
I think so too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got to change our approach.
Uh-oh. It's buffering.
I mean, I kind of understand that they have to move on to other places, try to find better solutions. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, if I'm trying to get away and not be spotted by others, I would probably land at a place that is a little bit difficult to get around. I mean, of course, if I have a place where I can go, that's easier for me to get around, of course, but
yeah,
I wouldn't discount it completely.
No, and I think they're just looking for something with a little more ease of access, right? But I would I would say the fact that that lighthouse is there, because you're going to have lighthouses that dot the shoreline to help you navigate that area. So the fact that that lighthouse is in the middle of nowhere, maybe that was a point of navigation to lead you to another point that maybe the the Third Reich set up to find an actual feasible vantage point for dropping off.
Why is it? Can I ask it might be a silly question. Why is it everybody always escapes to Argentina? Like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid escaped to Argentina as well. What is it about Argentina specifically?
I don't know.
Well, for Argentina, even before the war, there were a lot of Germans there. Like they started migrating there like way before. I mean, I know they
back in
already
the 30s.
Yeah, I believe they even
But
had
also, like,
people
in
there
Chile,
after World War
Venezuela,
I.
like all those
They
countries.
did, yes.
So why specifically Argentina though?
They were definitely sympathetic to the ideals.
So one of the guys, what was his name? Perón? That dude who was like the dictator who was in charge of Argentina, right? Perón, whatever his name was. He was a fascist.
Yeah. So I mean, they had the same ideology. I mean, it's even if you look at Japan now, of course we know Japan, was definitely on the same side. But way before World War I, even Germany and Japan were pretty big allies. And they brought in guns and stuff like that into Japan. And I looked this up actually more because of anime, because a lot of the anime names and the characters in anime have German names. So it's like, okay, that's kind of strange. Why is this? And I guess even long before World War I, they the Japanese thought that the Germans were just so highly educated and they wanted to mimic what Germany was doing in terms of politics, in terms of education and stuff like that. They sent a lot of Japanese people over to Germany to study there and then come back. So I think they did a lot of that in Argentina as well.
The guy's name was Juan Domingo Perón, and he was the president of Argentina from 1946 to 1955.
Okay.
And he was, yeah.
And I'm just sorry, guys, setting up the stream for Star Trek Engage right now, so that's why I'm a little preoccupied.
It's okay. We can go without you. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys are. That's what
yourself
happens
off
when
and
you
we'll
bring on
talk.
two intelligent people. The dummy gets to sit and do other stuff if he needs to.
American gets to sit in the corner.
It gets to watch the German and the Russian work together.
Yeah.
It's like old times. I mean,
do we have a poll that we can get on the stream?
What?
What?
Is there a joke that went over my head on that one?
Well. Kathleen, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
All
probably
right.
not gonna.
I'll go to Colombia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Engage is set up. Jason says, ha. He's like, oh my. Yeah. Yeah. Clifton got jokes.
We waste a lot of time on the peninsula. For hitting a whole bunch more potential U-boat landing sites seems kind of ineffective.
We need to focus on areas where there are supporters, where there's a potential place of refuge. There's a joke in the investigative community. It's called the black hole method. You never see a black hole, but you see the activity of all the stars around it.
We were successful in finding bin Laden that way. The way that we found him was tracking any finances, any contacts, and start narrowing it down. It ended up coming down to just one person. When you're hiding, you can't exist in a bubble. There has to be connections. So you start looking at your known associates. Like, who in this network of people could support a person existing in a...
That's the wrong Ryan. It says, Ryan, Steph spoke very highly of you last night when asked if doing your own editing. I do my own editing, but not like Ryan Kittle does. But you know, to be compared to that, Ryan, I'd probably have to be a little bit spicier.
Well, actually, Cliff does a lot of editing.
Yeah, I do all my editing, and for Brandon,
and for Brendan, the anime guy. So
I
he's better
I
than
did.
all the Ryans in the world.
I do I do like editing for like the intro videos and stuff like that, but my actual videos itself, no, I follow just the Ryan. I guess it'd be the best way to put it, the Ryan Kittle format. I didn't do it because of him. It's just the best way I am. Like I don't follow a script. I just hit record and go. And
Not true.
what do you mean not true?
Who was it that? Oh, your mate. God, I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. She said on the Friday Night Rumble that you have a script.
No, she said she had a script that I had written.
No, she
that
said
I had,
you had a script.
she's very mistaken. I don't use a script.
Has a script.
Oh, this is this is why you don't have women on panel. No, I kid. No, it was fun having Natalie there, but no, she
That's it. Sorry, Natalie. Yes, she exposed you.
She did. Yeah, she exposed behind the scenes. I have a written script, which if you've ever watched one of my videos, you would know is not true. I say stupid shit, and then I'm like, oh, guess I'm leaving that in there. So yeah.
If we're gonna look at who could facilitate hiding Hitler from the moment that he lands and enabling him to disappear into Argentina, link analysis is probably one of the most efficient ways to do it.
Tim uses special military software to perform the link analysis. It scans hundreds of pages of FBI documents and highlights persons of interest in the area of the Valdez Peninsula, based on their frequency of association and their connection to Hitler.
The name's going to be stronger with how many connections that person has with other names.
Okay. Hit it. Oh, holy cow. Look at this thing go.
It's identifying names and connections of everyone in locations, dates, and here are the hotspots.
Lausen. Looking back into the FBI files, the German company Lausen. It's extremely active in the world trade and is considered a most important Nazi spearhead in southern Argentina. After World War II, when the Reich failed, Argentina was the place to come if you wanted to disappear. But you need an organization on the ground. Something like Lausen gives them an infrastructure which they can rely on. They're all party members, and as such, they're all oath-bound to Adolf Hitler. And that means you can make the man disappear.
Do you have any locations on Lausen? Does he have anything in this area?
So Lausen has properties all over, but most of them seems to be centered in San Antonio Oeste. Here's where we were yesterday, right. Peninsula Valdez. And this is San Antonio Oeste.
So it's literally just right across the Gulf.
Yeah.
We need to go to San Antonio Oeste.
It almost kind of proves that what we were just discussing, that lighthouse might have been leading to, you know, a possible reference point to get just across the Gulf or something. So because they were looking for possible U-boat landings, and all of a sudden Lausen, this German company from a prominent family, who are prominent Nazi, you know, members, right? Literally right across the Gulf.
Yeah.
So it also kind of lends credence to what you guys were talking about. But maybe don't just discount it flat out. May have not been the right point, but it was real close. So
I kind of,
anyway.
though, I mean, yeah, but also I think that the Soviet and American intelligence would have had to know these things. Like they would have looked into it. Like,
well,
where it got right. So 2nd May, we're in Berlin, right? Berlin falls, but they would have had to think about what if he escapes? Like, where is he going to go? So that intelligence should have been available to them, and so they would have known.
In previous episodes, like the Russians, they were scared of Stalin, right? So even if they found out, okay, this guy that we found here at the bunker is not Hitler.
So that brings me
We're not
to,
gonna
and
admit
this is
it.
a really controversial take on my part. Maybe the Soviets actually helped him escape. or they said like you give up and you can go to this, because I don't believe for a second that they just let you both go to this lighthouse and then he escaped to Argentina. Nobody knows anything about anything, but there's records that the FBI have, the KGB had about this family, prominent family. So maybe like there was some sort of deal that was made. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming.
Well, we do know, and it wasn't the previous episode, it's actually the episode before that, because we're only on 3. So it was the very first episode where there actually was a report that Stalin actually did tell our president that he believed Hitler had escaped.
Mm-hmm.
And they were making it a point of like, Stalin's a very serious guy. Like, this is not somebody who's going to be kind of giving this information up lightly. And
Mhm.
so you do find out later on, and that the Catholic Church actually helped prominent Nazis escape.
Yeah.
And that's that's kind of a big scar on Catholicism, because obviously one of the reasons that the Catholic Church, probably not endorsing maybe what they did, but communism does not necessarily support religion. So it's one reason
Not
the
at
Catholic.
all.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
at all. Like my so like I come from a Russian Orthodox Christian family, but back in the day when my grandfather joined as a young man the Communist Party, I mean, obviously I wasn't alive, but my grandmother, who was very, and her mother were very religious, and we had all of these like icons in the house. They had to give everything up because the Communist Party, if you had people coming into the house and they saw any religious insight or anything, symbols, it would be like, you can't be a member of the party. And to
Mhm.
this day, she really regrets giving all of them away, because today these things cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And also the kind of spiritual, you had one sort of tsar and you just believed in him and the party. You couldn't
Mhm.
have, yeah. It was
It's
a,
also very, very sad, because obviously those things were part of your family heritage,
Yeah.
yeah.
and to have to give those up because yes, Catholicism was very active and very outspoken against communism, and it's one reason that I'm not saying they should have helped, but they did, and
You
you'll
know, it's
see
the same
later
thing
on.
same thing in Germany, right, Cliff? Like they had
Uh,
to.
I'd say it this way: the German government, they didn't like the church, the Catholic Church. They didn't like the Protestant Church, but they tried to use the church to get to the masses.
Yeah.
If they could somehow work something out with the church, that the people listened to the church and were like, yes, this is the right way of thinking.
Yeah.
Then yeah, but I mean,
The
there
and
there there were still people in the church that were like, no, this is not. But those churches were closed down,
Mhm.
and they weren't allowed to congregate, and so
Well, one of the oldest cathedrals in all of Europe, in Moscow now, it's been rebuilt. But during the Soviet time, Храм Христа Спасителя, which is the Cathedral of Christ the Savior, with its big golden domes now, like that was destroyed complete,
yeah.
to the ground.
That's just so awful to hear. So terrible. Um, yeah, no, I mean, so the Nazi Party, obviously, National Socialism was a lot better with the way they handled things through propaganda, through manipulation. Obviously, also at the same time, people were afraid of them, because look, if you spoke out against them, you were dealt with. I mean, look at how they dealt with the Jews. And
And
you
not just the Romy, the gypsies.
Yep, gypsies.
n-
Like, I mean, they had a laundry list. They had a
every
laundry list of people.
everyone in that was politically disagreeing with them.
Yep. So
And
no, it,
just
it it wasn't just Jews that were in concentration camps, by the way. There were
No,
many, but that was the mass majority. But
Yeah, Hitler hated Slavs as well.
Yeah.
Any kind
Mhm.
of Slavic person was the same as a Jew. So I
Yeah,
would be I would probably be considered, somebody who needs to go to a concentration camp because of my ethnicity.
Yep.
yeah, it was bad stuff, man. But no, it's like trying to pick the lesser of two evils, right?
This is our next target.
Rock and roll.
History Channel.
Focus is going to be San Antonio West.
Well, it's meant to appeal to those who are less than enthusiastic about history, but it's got some pretty solid evidence.
At the same time, we have Lenny doing his analysis of Berlin.
Bob Baer and John Sensich review the findings from both parts of their investigation, while the team in Argentina continue to search for the U-boat landing site.
What we have to do is to see how would you get out of Tempelhof Airport.
Now they turn their attention to how Hitler could have escaped Soviet-controlled Berlin in late April 1945.
Lenny's making great progress on the ground. He's determined there was a mass exodus out of Berlin by air on the 21st of April. There was a possibility that Hitler escaped from the bunker and made it out of Berlin.
It's not conjecture at all that these planes left, because that's a fact.
Now what we have to figure out is whether he could have gotten from the bunker to Tempelhof. Let's just keep on strengthening our investigations in both places.
In Berlin, Lenny de Paul and Sasha Kyle head underground to retrace the steps that Hitler could have taken from his bunker to Tempelhof Airport.
You see the tunnel?
Yeah.
In this direction, 400 meters. This is a line to Tempelhof Airport.
So they would have been underground until they reached Tempelhof Airport.
In 1945, as Soviet troops...
Being stubborn. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been there to that station.
Have you really?
Yeah. I've been to Berlin twice now.
Never got a chance to go to Berlin.
Yeah. It's interesting to see, but I would not want to live there. I'm not a city guy.
I'm not a city guy either. The irony is that I showed around my friend Natalie, and she's like, "Thanks for showing me." And literally, she saw about 3/4 of the quote city I live in, where you can drive from one end to the other in probably about 15 minutes, and we drove from almost one end to the other end in about 10. So
yeah,
it kind of tells you. And I was like, yeah, it was pretty funny. She's like, "This reminds me of where I grew up," and I'm like, "Going, yeah, it's like it's very, very small." But
I stayed at a place like, I don't know, maybe like a half a kilometer away from the Siegessäule from Brandenburger Tor, so yeah, all that historical stuff, the remnants of the wall, very interesting.
Yeah, Heidelberg was big enough for me. That was just. Jay says, Romani people, gypsies, taters, etc. Yes, also had it really bad. Remember everything I did learn as a younger lad because my great grandmother and grandfather, and older I got into reading about it. Yeah, absolutely. What you got there? Let me make it
Part of
bigger.
the Berlin Wall.
No, oh, that's cool.
Wow, cool.
Oh wow! Now that we really made that bigger, it really does look like a bunker, doesn't it?
It is.
Really, it's in the bunker.
Sitting here drinking beer with my American and German comrades. Здоровье, товарищ.
Plus,
get a translator for her. So yeah, it's basically it's one of those things too, is that we're about ready to find out here that this is literally off one of the main terminals in the actual subway system itself that led to Tempelhof.
Destroyed the city above. The metro system remained untouched.
That's crazy.
93 miles of tunnels were converted into a tool of war, allowing Nazi troops to move freely to almost every point in the city, directly below the Soviets' feet. Now it houses the U6 subway line, which follows the identical path to Tempelhof Airport.
Today it takes 10 minutes. Yeah. At 1945, 3 or 4 hours.
Well, they were up against it in 1945. They had to walk it. This was close to 2.5 miles for him to travel by foot on a terrain that was filled with rocks, railroad tracks. Any individual that's on the run, they're going to do whatever it takes to stay out of the line of fire. And that's what Adolf Hitler, I'm sure, was doing. His mindset was escape, escape, escape. He's going to do whatever it takes.
This is our station.
Okay.
Lenny and Sasha's 2-mile journey comes to an end at the subway's closest point to Tempelhof.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to reload it. Sometimes that helps.
Yeah. So in the last couple of episodes, like every time we hear Hitler wouldn't have just sat around and waited until they moved in, and it doesn't make sense to me that of course he would probably have something to take his own life if he actually got caught, but until that point of actually getting caught, it just doesn't make sense to kill yourself 2 days ahead.
No,
not try to get out. Like even like you would have to consciously make the choice. Okay, I'm going to kill myself, even without being caught.
Yeah, it to me would make no sense because I would wait till the very last second to do it.
Yeah, like why wait 2 days ahead of time?
And you also, I wish they had like
before.
Yeah, I wish they had like a criminal psychologist or somebody on the show just to think about the psychology behind it, because till the very last moment he was so delusional, he really did not want to accept that he lost. So for him to, I mean, it would have to, and obviously he had a lot of health issues, and with a lot of the stuff, especially the assassination that happened, like he was doing drugs and that affects the way you think. But till the very last point, something had to break so much in his psyche for him to suddenly go, you know what, fuck it. Like, Eva, you and me, just let's end it. And I don't believe it fits into his MO of the way he was thinking the days before.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be great to have analysis of that on the show.
Yeah, it's so it just doesn't make any sense to me either. There's so many ways he could have just gotten out of there, and there were prominent ones that made it before him. So it just would make sense that he bailed too.
What direction's the airport?
Look over there. This is the shortest way to the first building.
That's quite a distance between there, about a couple hundred meters.
Yeah.
He showed me where Tempelhof Airport was. I was shocked. I didn't think it was that big of a distance between the U6 and the entrance to the airport.
All right. Let me back up so you guys can see this. Yeah, it's about 300 meters. Yards, excuse me.
That big of a distance between the U6 and the entrance to the airport.
Damn Americans. In our distance difference. So that's quite a ways, but we find something out a little bit later.
I thought when he come out of that tunnel, within feet, he was in the front door, but that wasn't the case. You know what I don't believe, Sasha? I mean, as an investigator, I don't see him coming above ground, risking anything. I can't see him being exposed for that long. I mean, do you think Hitler would have traveled the U6 line all the way here, come above ground, and then run 200 to 300 meters?
It's a risk.
He would have had a tunnel built from the airport to the subway system. Once a fugitive pops his head out of anywhere, he becomes extremely vulnerable. In Hitler's case, he's got the Russian army after him all over the place. Desperate people do desperate things, but I don't see him risking that chance of being seen above ground.
Better to stay in the underground as long as you can.
Well, if there is an underground, you think?
Yeah, I actually agree with what Anna just said about Andy. Yeah, that is a great idea. I'd watch that show. Andy Pickle says, y'all ever seen Bill Vert's animated History of Everything, I guess?
No.
No, I haven't. Is that on YouTube?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it. I think it's on YouTube, yeah.
Would make for a good panel reaction. Interesting. Always looking for new topics. Obviously this is going to this show's going to take us
it's my idea. It was my idea. My idea.
Well, I mean, you're always invited on, so if you want to be a future panelist, All you had to do is say yes. I won't say no. Especially because you're obviously where you're from, you have family that lived during this time, right? None of my family would remember any of this. My grandparents I have one grandfather left, and he's not a very vocal man. Also, America was so removed from all of this, unlike Europe and the Soviet Union. I mean, that we're just smack dab in the middle of this. So it would make for. I'm just skipping ahead a little bit, see if I can get some of this to not buffer as much. Sometimes it's grumpy.
Connection. There was a rumor for a connection between Tempelhof Airport and the U6 line. We never found.
Profiling Hitler was Anna's idea. No.
Yes, it was. Watch me get a degree in criminal psychology now.
Yo, criminal profiles are or have been instrumental for years for capturing bad guys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Meh. Also takes you down kind of a dark path trying to imagine how somebody who's some of these
John Douglas, FBI behavioral unit, 1960, whatever it was, 67, 68.
Yeah.
Found a clear connection, except for one map. But that says it was just planned, never built, as we know.
Let's go. Let's walk it. Come on.
Yeah. It was planned but never built. Yeah. Gonna go with you have the most talented let's just say the most talented group of people of building underground bunkers in history.
Yep.
That we most likely learned everything that we use in today's world from how they did that. And at the time, nobody knew. So yeah, I would almost lean into the fact that it was highly likely that it was built.
Yeah, like if you build something like that, would you make sure that everyone knows that it was built?
Yeah. It's like, not even a little bit.
No, you keep your secrets.
Yeah.
The hidden door.
I mean, we still have so many secrets lost to history of this group of people. They were so good at burying it in bunkers around the countryside of all these nations that they had conquered and brought in. People are still finding it to this day. And what's even worse is that some of these countries don't even want to go inside these bunkers because they don't know if there's traps. They don't know how. I mean, there's so many different variables because the Nazis were so good at hiding their secrets. Yeah, it's one reason to this day I'm still so fascinated with everything the Third Reich did, because they did it better. When they did it 100 times better than everybody else. They had the first fighter jets.
Yep. And this is going a bit off topic, but I really enjoy the occult stuff that they were researching and all the crazy shit coming out about that, where you have reports of Die Glocke, the bell-shaped space time travel thing. It's crazy. They actually believed in this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, they actually traveled to the site where Die Glocke was said to be stored in this show. So it's a little bit later
really?
on. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it makes sense the way it's set up. You're like, I could almost actually see that being there, but yeah. They don't spend a whole lot of time on it because obviously, but they do talk about the wonder weapons that they were. And it's on a ship.
Yes.
Nice.
Just yes. Yeah, Indiana put an end to Hitler's chasing of the occult. Yeah.
Sasha head towards the airport to see if they can find any evidence of the Nazi tunnels.
I got to find out if there's any underground tunnels that go from the U6 into the front doors of that Tempelhof airport. There's got to be a tunnel. Let's go find out.
What's critical here is this name, Lausen, is showing up from these FBI files.
There's thousands of names in it, but this is the name that comes up most prominently. Look at that.
Bob Baer and John Sensage have begun an investigation into Hitler's death and the possibility that he may have escaped from his bunker and fled to South America. While the investigation in Berlin continues, the field team in Argentina have used a technique called link analysis to uncover a crucial clue: the name of Geraldo Lausen.
What do we know about Lausen?
The German Lausen company is extremely active in the wool trade and is considered a most important Nazi spearhead in southern Argentina.
A spearhead, that's a cover company. We're basically talking about a Nazi cover company in Argentina. I mean, look, a wool company, they got trucks, they got infrastructure, they got people working for them, which would be able to cover the landing of Adolf Hitler.
You'd also be able to transport weapons and munitions and troops.
Yep.
I mean, a truck's just a truck. Depends on what you put in it. But if you're gonna have a contingency of if you're gonna have the most high profile person in the world at the time, you're going to need people to defend him. And Argentina, South America is going to be a lot more lax on their standards than, let's say, hypothetically, a European or an American country at the time. So,
yeah. And relocating him. Hitler, if he had landed in the Valdez Peninsula, would have needed an immediate infrastructure. He would need protection. He would need money. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The FBI report puts us here, Valdez Peninsula. Link analysis puts us in San Antonio Este.
What we want to find out is, did Hitler go to San Antonio Este? Are there documents? Is there oral tradition? On paper, Lausen is exactly what Hitler or any other high-ranking Nazi would have needed. But that's only on paper. I say we send a team into San Antonio Este and see if they can cultivate that information into evidence.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. Let's do it.
The team arrive in San Antonio Oeste, and Gerard Williams heads to investigate the local marine archives. Tim Kennedy searches the coast for potential U-boat sites. And Stephen Rambam is looking into the Lausen connection.
If Hitler came to Argentina, we need to find out if Lausen had enough resources to set something up for him. Let's see if it's even remotely credible. Don't mention the name Hitler.
Sorry.
Well, it looks like we had a little bit of a snag. Sometimes it does that. Real quick though, actually, I put everybody here who's here their links in the chat. Please, yeah, of course. Thanks for being here, man. So you're getting on all platforms. Also, please subscribe to my history channel, because I've thought about maybe the first 5 episodes, maybe the first season, moving on and doing it exclusively on my history channel only, because we're streaming to my Legion Talk channel, just in case you guys. So I appreciate everybody watching on all platforms, including Rumble. But yeah, subscribe over there. So, and subscribe to these guys because they're awesome.
Thank you.
Says the best.
Spasibo. Danke.
Fuck, I forgot how you say you're welcome.
Welcome.
In German, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, American.
Yeah, it's been so long that I really do want to like take up learning it again, because I feel like it was such going from being in high school and be able to speak it, like carry on an actual conversation, to not being able to. That's right. Thank you, Andy.
Bitte or gern geschehen.
Yeah.
Do you know how to say it in Russian? Do you know how to say it in Russian?
No, not offhand right now.
Do you want me to teach you so you can actually say it for the first time? And you want to speak Russian on YouTube?
Yeah, let's do it.
Get copyright.
Get copyright? What?
And it copyrights everything that's Russian on YouTube.
Is this it?
No, spasibo is thank you.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh no, we were talking about your well. Okay, so you know what? I'm start taking Russian too. Like there's apps everywhere that you can like learn languages. Just of course, I think isn't Russian one of the hardest languages to learn?
Yeah, Russian, Chinese, and Arabic. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
Не за что. When you say thank you to somebody and you say you're welcome back, it's не за что.
Не
за что.
Нершаста.
I'm not even going to try it.
That's good.
As long as everybody got a laugh out of it, that's all that matters.
I just want to say
Jason's laughing. He's like, yeah, learn Russian with Anna.
Yes.
That would actually probably be a successful.
Hitler, too. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, I actually did I did a video a long time ago about the swastika and how the differences between the two, and how for a long time it's a symbol of hope, and then of course the weirdos decided to hijack it, and that video did very well. I think it's because it's under history guidelines that they give you some leeway. It's not like, certain other things. Andy says real quick, the Cyrillic alphabet makes it hard to learn.
It's not just it's the grammar as well. Every word has a different ending, whether it's a verb and a noun and how you place it in a sentence. It's not like Latin languages. It's very different.
Although, I mean, we have that in Germany too.
No, I know you have that in like French and German and Spanish, but here it's very like the sounds and the way you write it, like Andy's right. With the language, it's very delicate. Just like in Chinese or
you have to get the sound exactly right, or it's gonna have a completely different meaning.
Exactly.
It makes me wish
one word like peace sites or peace site has two meanings. Peace sites means to pee, peace sites means to write. But
why are you referencing a Volkswagen Passat? The first one doesn't sound like it, but the last one, to write, sounds like Passat for like Volkswagen's car.
Oh my god.
They're here for the knowledge. I'm here for jokes. Yeah, mixing. No, in all honesty, I wish that the United States took learning other languages more seriously.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes, Andy. The word, like every noun has a gender. So like окно, which means window, is an it. So it's non-binary.
Yeah. Yeah. Same in German. There's there is a different
And
word
same in
for
French,
female,
too.
for man, and for object. Yeah.
So yeah, they're different male and female. Der, die, and das. So it's one of the first things they try to teach you that language is gendered.
But then also in Russian you have kot, which means male cat, and koshka, which means female cat. So if you see a cat, you need to definitely like know what gender they are to be able to address it. Yep. I'm not joking. It's true.
In German, it's Kata for the male and Katze for the female.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about an American, Ryan?
We're stupid, so we just
cat.
It's just cat. No, I mean, even English obviously is a gendered language, with him, her, he, she, stuff like that. But there are other languages that obviously take it to a whole nother level, because you'll say, even sometimes in German, sometimes something that may normally be masculine or something like that, in certain instances given the scenario, it's said with a feminine pronoun. So it's been a long time, but
like if there's multiple, you would
say usually a plurality.
Yeah. But that's also why, going back to pop culture and stuff, the Latinos and Latinas, they get upset over the Latinx issue because that doesn't exist. There's already words in place that mean female or male, and
these are established historical facts. Like, language was designed this way for a reason, and it's been like that for thousands of years. To all of a sudden change somebody's language that a large chunk of the world speaks, at least some version of it, you know, because Portuguese is very similar to Spanish, but I mean there are differences, but they were basically modeled after Spanish, and it's like you change somebody's language, you're changing their culture. So it's
Mhm.
yeah, it's one of those things that I mean, this is literally stuff that has been prominent throughout history. But anyway, we have about 15 minutes left, so let's try to. I know I was letting it load. Sometimes the high seas, it loads some days better than others. Last week it didn't work at all for like the first 5 minutes. It did it on
The sea is always right.
the sea is
Cluu and I took over.
Anna with the sea is always right. So she watched that too. I'm sorry.
Hitler.
You excited for season 2?
No, I'm excited to see the rest of this episode.
With the help of a local translator, Stephen searches the town.
He knows of a house which is very near here.
And quite quickly, they hear of a nearby property that was once owned by the Lawson family.
I thought it was the guy doing that.
That's because somebody lived here.
You thought it was the guy doing that?
He put his hand up like he was going, oh, like what? Jeez.
No, just the dog. Jason says in Norway we just say cut to every cat. Mostly they never use gender really there here. No, sorry, there. And he says, I think the modern changes have as much to do with ebonics and lazy ignorance of grammar as to gain power. Who knows? Possibly. I don't know. It's I'm sure that as most cultural revolutions or cultural whatever cultural wars you want to talk about it, China's been through one, Russia's been through one. It's just stuff that's very prominent. It happens to all countries. We just happen to be going through the one in the United States, so I'm sure history books will write about that. This house is very unique, though, for being in Argentina.
He doesn't think anyone lives here, but the new door.
Hola. Check this out. This is marble, yeah? This used to be a real mansion, huh?
It was probably the most important house in San Antonio Oeste.
Okay, now we really have to look. I want to knock on a few doors. You know what? Let's try this house.
Buenas.
Does he know anything about this house? We were told this was the house of...
Come on.
We were told this was the house of...
Lawson was the purveyor of different kinds of activities. They built this house and the one on the corner.
Basically the whole street, right?
Yes. And come to find out, I believe they like, yeah. Lawson was the one who financed it all. So they're talking to somebody who's actually lived there and knows the history.
And he says the middle one there was a bank. El banco era de Lawson.
El banco era el primer banco de Nación. No figuraba Lawson como Banco Lawson.
It didn't formally belong to the Lawson family, but...
He was the secret controlling person. Okay. Lawson is the central figure. The man had...
Yeah, they had a bank.
Yeah. Imagine owning your own bank.
I mean, that's kind of like the whole story of like the Killers of the Flower Moon, which is based on the true story of the Osage and living in that area, and like one guy literally controlled everything in town and was like the sort of behind the scenes. He was in the background, but everybody knew who the boss was. And everybody knew who controlled everything, from the bank to the farmers to the oil to everything. So that's like part of history. It's not made up. Like that is true. It happens. So I completely believe that would have been the case.
Bank is also a great place to hide, let's just say, a bunch of money that was technically stolen from other people way
Yeah.
across the pond. To fund your, to fund your activities and fortifications in another country, possibly waiting for somebody needed to escape.
At his own bank. This is a guy who could do anything he wanted. If Hitler smuggled to this area to escape, you need money, you need shelter, you need security. He'd have to have somebody like a Laurence. Hold on a second. We got to stop. Who's this guy?
Perdón, una sola cosa. This gentleman has heard that you're in town looking, for Germans, and ¿usted sabe algo de alemanes acá en la zona?
Do you say you hate the History Channel?
I said, come on, History Channel. That is so, like, staged. Like, this guy's just walking around town with cat. He's like, oh, I'm looking for a German here. Like, come on. It's so silly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like the History Channel because it gives me ideas of topics to look up myself, and it's good sleeping material. I love turning on the History Channel and sleeping.
Yeah. And I mean, we never sleep in Europe, so.
True too. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like either one of you sleep at all. I get messages from like both of you at weird times, and I'm like, isn't it like 7 hours ahead there? And I'm like, what the hell?
That is completely not true. And even if it is, it's because of you. And
well, I usually
your show keeps us awake because you invite us. So
4
thank
o'clock in the
you,
morning.
Mr. America.
Well, it's not. Well, it is kind of technically nighttime there, isn't it?
Back to the old man who's looking for Germans in Argentina.
Al final de la Segunda Guerra Mundial.
Sí, decía que en la parte de Puerto, el primitivo San Antonio Este, estaba el submarino alemán.
A German submarine? Out of nowhere, an elderly gentleman comes up to us with information about submarine sightings and associations. Who the heck knows what we're going to find?
Uno de acá de San Antonio que es buzo.
He's the diver. Tony Brochado is the diver que estuvo buceando por buscando el submarino.
And he's here in San Antonio.
Ese vive acá en San Antonio.
He lives here in San Antonio.
Okay, so we can find him. He told us about a gentleman by the name of Tony Brochado. He's an expert on German activity in this general area.
Huh. While their local contact reaches out to Tony Bruschetta to see if he'll speak with the team, Stephen meets up with Gerard, who has uncovered valuable information in the local marine archives.
There's a cluster of submarine sightings from the Coast Guard, from police, all along this coastline.
Listen, I just want to get this clear in my mind. Germany surrenders, and on May 2nd, Admiral Donitz broadcasts to all the ships at sea, including the U-boats, that's it, we're done, we've lost, we've surrendered, turn yourselves in.
And most U-boats do exactly that.
Okay.
But there are 46 U-boats missing at the end of World War II.
There's no obvious reason why submarines would be coming to Argentina. It's a long way to come to surrender when they could have surrendered in Portugal or Spain and been closer to their families back in Germany. They had to be on a mission. They had to be doing something. And there's no strategic mission. There's no destructive mission here. But there is the mission to deliver Adolf Hitler safely to friends in the South.
One file Gerard discovered in the marine archives lends credibility to this theory.
And had a look at the files on the Mendoza off the San Matthias Gulf.
3 months after the end of the war, Argentinian warship the Mendoza encountered a German U-boat still operating in these very waters.
3 crew members clearly saw a submarine emerge and submerge. And it depth charged them.
What happened to the sub?
They don't know.
We have sightings, we have supporters. All of the information that we're receiving, all of the documents points us to here. If I was a sub-captain looking to infiltrate somebody into Argentina, boy, oh boy, this is certainly prime territory.
Thoughts?
I'm not a sub captain, so I mean, I don't know what I would be looking for if I was a sub captain carrying Mustache Man. Probably be profiling him as I'm doing it. But I don't know.
Definitely look like you belong on a submarine, though. That hat. You look like you're in
Yes.
the Navy.
Yes.
Or air carrier.
Yes.
But yeah, no, definitely. I think going scuba diving and stuff like that for U-boat makes sense around the coast of Argentina. So, and going
Isn't
there
there
and doing
another
that.
History Channel where they do that and they go like and do Nathan Drake sort of things where they get a whole bunch of experts and divers and they go and look at wrecks from World War II.
Yeah, there's a lot of documentaries that do that. We'll just say we do see a sunken U-boat. Eventually see a lot of stuff that's actually kind of cool. The first season is a little more about kind of like following the trail. Obviously, after the success of the first season, they get a lot more funding, so they can do a lot more cool stuff.
Yeah,
but they do ramp it up, and it gets even weirder, which is one reason that I think the show really hooked me towards as it kept going.
Yep.
In Berlin, Lenny DePaul and Sasha Kyle have uncovered eyewitness reports of an exodus of Nazi planes from Tempelhof Airport the day after Hitler was last seen in public.
Yeah, so they could easily have gotten here in the subway, boom, right to the airport.
The team have also discovered that Hitler would have had the underground infrastructure to escape from his bunker to the airport.
What direction's the airport?
Look over there.
There's only a short distance between the subway and the entrance to Tempelhof.
We found rumors that they planned a direct connection.
Lenny and Sasha head into the airport to find out if the connecting tunnel was actually ever built.
This is the airport Tempelhof, and it was completed at 1937. In this time, the second largest building in the world.
Wow. It's unbelievably big.
Yeah. That's crazy looking.
When they planned this building, it was planned
big
as a
for
completely
1937.
independent, isolated complex. Later, when they thought about escape plans for Hitler, it is possible within weeks that they built a tunnel from Tempelhof Airport to the subway station. Hundreds of rooms. It was
Yeah, it's quite a
part of
large
Hitler's plannings
airport for
to
the
let,
time.
Berlin
Definitely
be
for the time, yeah. But that was like, I believe it was also supposed to be one of the big areas in Berlin after, if everything would have gone the way that Hitler wanted, he was going to transform like 90% of Berlin, and that was one of the points that would have gotten even bigger and would have been a focal point.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to turn it, and I mean, and you can just look at what is it, The Man in the High Castle. Obviously that's satirical, but it does take from a lot of the ideas of what they actually wanted to do, what they actually wanted to accomplish. They wanted to turn I mean, you'd have to technically subtract Japan. Since they helped them, Japan would probably have a little bit of a stake, but
And you can read that book in one day. It's actually a really thin book.
even the show was really good. It fumbled at the end, but sometimes that happens with a lot of shows. They fumble the ending, but the whole show leading up to the ending was incredible.
But they didn't have any more funding and stuff for the show.
What's that?
I've never seen the show and I don't want to.
You really should. I think you'd like it.
No, I'm gonna read the book.
Oh yeah, you should read the book too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, at the end they didn't get the funding that they needed to. They probably could have done almost another season for the ending at least. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. It wasn't on the writers or anything. It was just no funding.
Yeah, it was a funding thing. Obviously it went on for what, 6 seasons? 6 or 7? So it was a very successful show. It's just, you know, eventually.
This is literally how thin the book is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, they stretched it, you know, they put other stuff in it, but
I know, just to live in that world though, to see what it would have been like had they
Exactly.
won, was just like, it's, as somebody who studies this kind of stuff like incessantly, because it's one of my, and I know that sounds weird, people be like going, oh my god, like, it's just so fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, to think of what the world would have been like, what it is almost a little, it's very intriguing, but it's also kind of terrifying.
Yeah,
it's also kind of terrifying.
Tempelhof was the key to the Nazis' military strategy and contained an underground factory where planes were built and then flown directly into battle. Tempelhof was one of the final Nazi strongholds and did not fall to the Soviets until the 28th of April 1945, a week after Hitler was last seen in public. The airport is no longer active, but still houses 6 stories of tunnels, bunkers, and underground passageways.
We're now in the heart.
I just want to say thank you so much to Wade for watching on X. That would be Twitter. It's awesome. Appreciate you commenting there too on the stream. He says that Anna is a superb guest. Well, she is, and she is extremely welcome to become a regular panelist. Doesn't mean she has to be on every show, but yeah, I'll ask her after this and see what she thinks. So I don't want her to stay up too late though. It's a joke. It's a joke. I keyed.
Of this airport.
I want to see the tunnel that's going to take me to the city subway. Oh, Sasha, we're coming to a dead end here. This doesn't look good.
Real quick, Kathleen says, thanks all. It was very interesting. Yeah, this show ran a little bit longer, but I think it's because we got into the weeds a little bit about on nothing off topic. Actually, it was very on topic, and I think that makes it better. So thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next time. We are almost done though, so
yeah.
This doesn't look right. Let's go back down. Hold on a second. Let me get this compass up. We want to be what? North?
Northwest is the station.
So northwest is where the U6 would have stopped, right?
Yeah.
This way. This is where we gotta go. Wait a minute, what's this? Look at this. That's big enough for somebody to claw through.
It's a small tunnel, but yes, if you go on your knees.
On the deepest level of the underground complex, Sasha and Lenny find a suspicious blocked-up passage that appears to have once been a tunnel.
Give me your GPS for a second. Let me lock these coordinates in. Okay, let's lock it in here. All right, I want to go back up top and see where we are on the street level in relation to the U6 subway train, and to see if there's any possibility at all that this tunnel could have led there. Right about here. This is where we were down about 20 feet. This is where it stops. Why would a tunnel stop right here in the middle of the park?
Just 50 meters away is a train station.
Adolf Hitler had a pretty good idea what he was doing. He didn't wake up Monday morning and say, hey, I think I'm going to try to escape. There's got to be a connection underground to the U6 subway train.
also on the fact they said that the tunnel was blocked up.
Yeah.
So it would be something that it could have been after the escape. They blocked it up, or it's could have been something that too that like maybe even later the later German government decided to block a bunch of it up, much like they did the Fuhrer bunker. They turned it into a parking lot. They filled it in with concrete, turned it into a parking lot because forget all of it.
Yeah,
So,
try to get rid of the history. We don't want to think about it, stuff like that.
which I mean, look, I absolutely get. Even to this day, that it's an extremely sensitive subject, and I guarantee that Clifton, you can actually relate to that. It was a sensitive subject when I lived there. Back for 3 years. I left in 2006.
No, I mean, I
June
don't have.
2006.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any family who actually lived through it anymore. But nobody would, talk about it.
We had a
Right.
lady. We had a lady that came to. She's unfortunately she's probably dead now. She was elderly, but she came to Campbell Barracks, USER headquarters every 2 weeks on a Sunday, and she would come there and she would put flowers at the front of the gate, that she had basically picked herself and stuff like that. And she did that because she was a child when all of this happened, and she remembers the horrible things that happened, and she was always ever so grateful to what the United States did. And we would go out there and we'd give her like water and stuff like that, because it'd be a hot summer day and she'd be out there, and it's like, yeah, we'd go. So she was a wonderful person. She was always so grateful. But yeah, it's wild.
In the small Argentinian port town of San Antonio Oeste.
Where is it? Okay.
After uncovering an Argentinian naval file describing an unknown German U-boat operating in this area, Stephen, Gerard, and their translator make contact with the local legend, Tony Bruschetta, who's been diving in these waters for decades.
Can we take 15 minutes of your time? Gracias. Tony Bruschetta, this is the guy who's going to be able to give us credible, objective information. Does he think that U-boats came to this area?
¿Pensás vos que esos submarinos pueden haber venido?
Sí. Does he think that these subs were delivering people, important German people?
Sí.
What's his evidence of this?
Bueno, está de la señora Paisani y desde la cocina pudo divisar la silueta de un submarino.
From her kitchen window, she saw the submarine in a place called...
Now, obviously, let me tackle this from a law enforcement standpoint. This is what is called circumstantial evidence. These are eyewitness accounts. They're circumstantial evidence at best. The thing is, though, is that many times circumstantial eyewitness accounts lead to harder evidence, and that's a lot of the times how you actually get, evidence without, because in criminal cases you have to prove without without reasonable doubt, right? You can't convict somebody to life in prison on circumstantial evidence. So it's a story, but it's something that needs to be followed up on. Andy says San Antonio isn't a port town here. I'm assuming you live in Texas.
Well, Berlin, Missouri doesn't have a airport.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, St. Petersburg, Florida, isn't really the cultural center of America.
Did you know that my previous employer, I actually worked in St. Petersburg, Florida? Or are you just saying that because there's a St. Petersburg, Florida, and there's a St. Petersburg, Russia?
Did. I don't know. Maybe I've got intelligence, info. I don't
She
know.
knows everything about us.
Yes.
Andy says yes in Tejas. Yes. No, yeah, there's a St. Petersburg, Florida. And it's probably drastically different than St. Petersburg, Russia.
Yes, very.
I'm being facetious, by the way, but since it's kind of it's kind of the gay capital of Florida. So of course nothing wrong with that.
Explains why you work there.
Yeah. He's got jokes. I like it. Thank you, Clifton, for that. There is a Paris, Texas. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Sounds like a porn star name.
Paris, Texas.
Nope, never mind.
I could make the joke, but I won't take it further. I promise. We're on a different topic.
During the war or after the war?
¿Durante la guerra o después de la guerra?
Después de la guerra.
After the war.
After the war. And what does he think happened to this sub?
Once they disembarked the people, they had to leave the submarine somewhere. They had nowhere to go back to. The war was lost.
So it was scuttled.
Así que lo hundieron ellos.
Okay.
We came to San Antonio Oeste to search for more information about possible landings. What we didn't expect to find is information suggesting that there's possibly a scuttled U-boat off this coast.
Has anyone ever made an effort to find this submarine?
The first Navy expedition, the first real search for the German U-boat, Tony was part of it, and it was back in 1997.
Okay, so he was actually part of the expedition to look for it.
Yes.
The Argentinian Navy considered it so likely that subs were scuttled in this area that they mounted a very expensive expedition.
So that right there takes what becomes circumstantial evidence, and because the reports were so likely that the Argentinian Navy decided to actually investigate. That lends a lot more credence. Now, it doesn't make it without a shadow of a, beyond it. I would say it's something, it give you probable cause, but quite frankly, it's still not going to be, it's still very circumstantial-ish, but it's enough that they spent millions of dollars to do this. So,
Right.
But there's also, a question: would the Argentinian government actually be interested in finding the U-boat? If there's connections
question.
to the government, lending their help.
Depending
I'm not
on
sure. Yeah.
Depending
Yeah,
on the
I'm not
kind of
sure that-
government. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and you're right. Sorry, dude, I cut you off.
No, all good. I'm just, it's a question, and I mean, we're gonna find out here in a moment if they did find anything or not. So.
How satisfied is he with the search that he was involved in?
One of the facts is that there never was enough search time.
Because of bad weather.
Por el clima, ¿verdad? Yes.
We now have a very specific location. Near here, a place called Caleta de los Loros, the Cove of the Parrots. I hate to use big words like actionable intelligence, but that's exactly what we have.
Do you think Adolf Hitler was on one of these submarines?
Sí.
So he's satisfied that there were supporters of Hitler in this area who, if he landed on a sub, would have received him and supported him and moved him to a secure location.
Es decir, como si hubiera llegado un rey.
As if a king had arrived.
We may have an opportunity to prove that Hitler could have been transported to Argentina. That is a giant chunk of this investigation. As if a king.
We're making good headway on both our choke points. It looks like in Berlin, we're halfway there. Okay, Argentina, second choke point.
Following up on information from a declassified FBI file that talks of Hitler arriving in Argentina aboard a U-boat, Bob and John ruled out the Valdez Peninsula due to its treacherous coastline and isolation from any Nazi supporters. But after uncovering Lausen, their U-boat landing investigation has a new location.
What we found so far is a secret bank owned by Lausen in San Antonio. Looks like a front company, a Nazi front company. The Mendoza file, which shows that the Argentine Navy was up there in 45, dropping depth charges. And we have 1997, the Argentine Navy was looking for a scuttled U-boat. I mean, this is really authoritative sources.
We have this new area where the information is vectoring. Caleta de los Loros. This is a cove that's north of the Valdez Peninsula.
What's most interesting for me is it was perfectly possible they brought a U-boat in here, delivered Hitler, and then scuttled the boat off the coast.
Let's do the recon.
Yeah.
And see what we can find.
Let's look at it from the air.
Right.
We need a drone.
What we need to do is to get a drone, do a reconnaissance, get some photography of the coastline, and see if those data take us one or more steps closer to proving that Hitler was on the submarine right there at Caleta de los Loros.
I think this is our place. Let's put some up in the air.
Let's do it.
The FBI
It's a
files
lot more hospitable.
brought us to this general area. If we find evidence, if something tangible, our theory about Hitler coming here is even that much more possible.
Tim is armed with a state-of-the-art self-flying aerial drone that captures tens of thousands of...
I'm sorry. Oh, dumb. It's like, what are you gonna do, U.S. Army vet? Like, you're gonna put a drone up and go back in time and capture Hitler's U-boat coming? Like, what is the point? Like, are they recreating a U-boat? Actually, what?
It's actually meant to survey the land to make sure that that it's a feasible landing point, right? That you're not going to
With
be.
a drone?
Yeah, absolutely. Drones go up hundreds of feet.
They
Yeah,
can
I
create a
know.
3D model and
Exactly.
no, I mean the drone creates the 3D model. It takes the
Okay, but
pictures.
there's no U-boat. So what are they creating?
Well, so
A
what they're
whale
doing,
coming into the
no, they're not actually trying to recreate the fact that, like, they're not trying to find the U-boat. They're trying to find
That's not what he said.
a feasible landing point.
Stupid. I'm sorry.
Well, when you're landing on a beach, actually, it's actually extremely important. One reason that D-Day was such a horrendous thing is that because the cliffs above actually gave the Nazi pillboxes free reign to see
Yeah.
the Allies coming that far out, and it's kind of the reverse effort, right? They want to make sure that that it's a feasible place for a submarine to dock and land and to unload what would be probably a massive amount of stuff that would accompany probably the most high profile target in history. So,
Okay.
so yeah, no, I don't know what he said though that you were laughing at. So I'm actually gonna back it up like slightly because I didn't catch that part. Again, it is the History Channel, so they're
Yes.
ramping things up for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, and that kind of pissed me off because they teased this part at the end of last episode.
Mhm.
We haven't seen anything, and then it's like, oh, and look at this. Oh, by the way, bye until next episode. It's like,
Yeah, it's meant to be television, which no, I completely get. You know, uh, because most people don't watch documentaries nowadays for entertainment. I mean, I'm a weirdo and I do. I know that Anna watches documentaries because she likes them. I'm assuming Clifton, you seem like the kind of guy who likes them. I'll hunt for documentaries and literally download them off YouTube just to watch them later. And if I like them so much, I'll keep them on a hard drive that's literally right in front of me. That's not a joke. So, but I'm massively the exception to the rule. All right, what did Tim say to get Anna laughing? I
The
need to hear
FBI
this.
files brought us to this general area. If we find evidence, if something tangible, our theory about Hitler coming here is even that much more possible.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like, what evidence is he gonna find? Stupid.
Well, Andy Pickle is correct. Yeah, it's there's actually a flag that they planted when they landed. Yeah, no, that is funny. That is maybe word it better, guys.
Tim is armed with a state-of-the-art self-flying aerial drone that captures tens of thousands of high-resolution overhead images. Once the flight path is completed, the computer software pieces the images together to create a 3D model of the landscape in great detail.
I am immediately impressed by this area of the coast. It's protected from all of the weather and wind and swells of the big, dangerous ocean. This is pretty much the perfect spot if you want to land a U-boat. They could anchor somewhere right out there, and a boat could bring someone the rest of the way to the beach.
What? Andy Pickle says, tonight on Beelzebub, Finding Hitler, we make a drinking game. Every time someone calls bullshit, we drink. Paramedics are standing by. What is the topic tonight for on Get Ranked? And who's on?
There's no Get Ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Bowl. That's right.
Taylor Swift's proposal or some shit.
I'm gonna try to sleep tonight.
Well, it's actually it's gonna be like 12:30 for you, 11:30 for me. So
Yeah.
might as well stay up.
Yeah, so the Super Bowl starts at starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, that'll be. You're not missing anything. Kansas City's going to win.
Yep.
I mean, do you think they're? I don't want conspiracy theory me to come out, but this whole Taylor Swift crap is like. You think they're really going to let them lose? There's going to be like bad reffing or something like that, and they'll be like, anyway, all right, moving on. It's not that. Not, sorry, that's my fault. I did it. It's me. It's not the channel for it.
See what we have here. Yeah, see little spots like this would be ideal. No clear line of sight, easy access.
From the survey, we have a few anomalies. What is this?
That I'm gonna go check out for sure.
A perfectly circular black, looks like hole in the middle of nothingness. Really, really, really curious.
I'm gonna go check this out, I think.
It's more entertaining watching Anna react to what he says.
Oh man, I think we got something right here.
Well, now Anna, you have to be a permanent part of the panel because Wade's he's too entertained by you.
Who? Wade?
Yeah.
Wade isn't entertained by me. What? He's my friend.
He says Anna is a superb guest. And then
Oh,
Clifton said,
well,
damn right.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
Yeah.
It's been like a whole century.
The whole century? God, I look good for 138. I'd actually live to 138 if I could. Not because I want to live that old, because there's so many things.
I have a quit before we stop this because we need to go into space soon. But if we actually all met back in 1945, an American, a German, and a Russian.
Well, I would most
What kind of video game would that be?
Be a crazy game. Especially because I'd probably, if I met you guys at the time, I would be in an army uniform. So, which would be massively likely.
And I would probably also be in an army uniform.
And me too, but I would be either a sniper or I would be flying a plane. So that's what I would be doing. And I'd probably shoot Clifton and then you.
Wait, why do I get shot? You were on the same side.
I don't know you. Never met an American.
Well, if you had a sniper rifle, you just might. You're like going, oh no, I don't like the way this guy looks.
Yeah.
He's kind of suspicious.
A little sus. Andy says that's where the flag was planted. Yeah, no, they pulled the whole entire dirt because they don't want it to be caught. No, this actually what he finds is interesting. I know they don't give you a lot of context.
Hey, whoa. We got a freaking well in the middle of nowhere. This makes no sense to be here. This is unbelievable. Holy crap.
Next time on Hunting Hitler.
Oh, stop right there, George. What's that?
There's definitely something there.
100%.
100%.
Adolf Hitler supposedly took off 70 years ago, but right now I feel like I'm right behind him.
Let's go find a U-boat.
If there's something here, we are absolutely going to find it.
We're good to go. All right, let's go. Drop it in first.
Something.
Oh, there we go. We've got something man-made.
No way.
Is that a swastika carved on that?
You gotta be kidding me.
All right. Andy Bigelow says they found this shitter.
Oh my God, Andy, I was going to say that. It's like a 1945 bucket.
Oh, you brought it back to the bucket.
Yeah, sorry.
You know you're not on bucket duty, right? Yeoman Taylor is.
That's fine. That's very good.
Did you see the stain still in her face though? She's like, oh, yeah.
No, whatever. So back
Well,
to
Anna and I do have to travel to space, so without any further delay, Anna, where will we be literally in an hour?
Well, before I go to space, I'm going to go on a different show real quick because I'm feeling giddy. So
What show?
I don't even know. Wait, it's on Jason's 540 studio. I didn't even know he was streaming today, but he invited me, so check him out, Jason Fox. And then 9:15, so literally in an hour, with Ryan back on deck with our beautiful crew.
And
2 guests, right?
Yes, 2 guests. I need to update that. Thank you. So obviously Jason has been commenting in the comment section, so I would assume that would be easy to get to his YouTube channel where Anna's going to be literally within 2 minutes. Clifton 3D, what you got going on, dude?
Let's see. Tomorrow, midnight my time for Mountain. 4 p.m.
Yes.
Mountain time.
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. Mountain.
Yeah, we have a stream over on my channel. Insert culture. Anna's going to be there. Brandon, the anime guy, Ronan66, always, up to debate, if they can get off work, if family things going on, stuff like that. But we definitely have topics and we'll bring on some guests and stuff like that. So always fun to check out. Other than that, Fridays, I am over on Legion Talk as a panelist on Friday Night Royal Rumble. And I'm currently working on some interesting things. My second channel, Enigmatic Universe. I have it right here. I'm going to be bringing it back. I want to do some long form documentaries in history direction. Gonna send it also over to your side on the History Channel. And
awesome.
I'm also going to be having a show where I talk about more modernized version of the knightly virtues, the just trying to give another voice to against feminism and the manosphere extremes out there, something in between that normal people can actually check out. So
yeah, where all the normal people live. Yeah. The extremes are killing us. Thank you guys for being here. Obviously, Anna, thank you so much. This is the first time you're here. This was awesome. Shout out to the chat. You guys are the best. Also, Andy Pickle, I'm not going to dive into that one, so we'll just let it die. With that being said, I literally within an hour, we're going to be doing Star Trek Engage on Legion Talk, Samuel the Infamous's channel, Adam the Renaissance Nerds, our doc, Horny Alf, bunch of different channels, bunch of different platforms because we love to simulcast. It's a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody. You guys are the best, and we will definitely see you guys next time. And appreciate it. See you guys.
There's not sufficient evidence that Hitler died in the bunker on April 30th, 1945.
Could Adolf Hitler have gotten out of Berlin, and how did he do it?
How did he enter Argentina?
We're going to look at who could facilitate hiding Hitler.
We need to take this out of the realm of hearsay and see what sort of technology we can bring. There are thousands of leads